करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Madhurya Kadambini series this morning. We'll just recite the Mangalacharan two verses and then we will begin our continued discussion. Ridva Nava Bhakti Shasya Vitate Sanjeevani Swagama Rambe Kamatapatarudaha Damane Vishwapagullasini Dhuran me Marushakino api sarasi Bhavaya Bhuyat Prabhu Shri Chaitanya Kripa Nirankush Maha Madhurya Kadambini Shri Chaitanya Kripa Nirankush Maha Madhurya Kadambini Shri Chaitanya Kripa Nirankush Maha Madhurya Kadambini Ridvapre Nava Bhakti Shasya Vitate Bhakti Purveh Shitatam Tu Rasam Pashyed Yadattadhi Tam Naumi Satatam Rupa Nama Priya Janam Hare. So if you remember in the last class, we had been discussing the Pratama Vrishti, the ninth part, it's a ninth phrase because it's a prose, the complete independence of bhakti, the complete independence of bhakti. So after Rupa Goswami, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur has established how bhakti is completely independent of karma and jnana, and bhaktya sanjayate bhaktya, and ultimately it is a madhyam devotee who bestows his mercy. Then he keeps on now hammering the post. How even karma, to attain bhakti, karma, to attain its fruits, bhakti is required. you know. And bhakti is completely independent. So he keeps on hammering that, and then he proves the complete independence of bhakti. Shreya Shrutim Bhaktis Udaste Vibho. You know, Kevala Bodha. If somebody takes up to Keval Bodha, Klishanti Eva, he only gets no result. If there is no bhakti element in that gyan, he will not even attain liberation. So ultimately, the practice of gyan will give the results only if bhakti is there. So bhakti has to be an element. And Kuvarta Apta Bhajatam Swadharma. What will he attain by performing his Swadharma? He will attain nothing, zero. If again the bhakti element is not there in that karma. And even in yoga. Pureha Bhuman Bhavapi Yogina. So all this, And then he proves that, there is a statement that, Gyan and Vairagya are not the limbs of bhakti. What to speak, Gyan and Valam. And that's why, you know, uh, Dharman santajya sarvan ma bhajay sacha sattama. Sarva parityaja mam ekam sharanam. One who worships me, he is the best, So he has proved this, which we discussed in the last class, if you remember. Quite in detail, we discussed this, And then he quotes in the second phrase that, actually, the paths of karma, jnana, and yoga, however, can give perfect only with the help of bhakti, you know. And he quotes this verse. Uh, which is that verse? It's here. Mm. Yat karma bhir, yat tapasa jnana vairagyasya yat. So this mentions that, none of these paths can, you know, none of these paths. Oh, it's a huge sound. Yat karma bhir, yat tapasa jnana vairagyasya yat, yogena dan dharmen, shevir itere api, सर्वम मद भक्ति योगेन मद भक्तो लभते अंजसा स्वर्ग अपवर्ग मद धाम कदाचित यदि वांछति. Everything what can be accomplished by this can be given by bhakti itself. So that's why you need not practice them separately. No? In fact, they also, without the bhakti element, cannot give their results. That's what we discussed. And then he quotes also Bhagavat Bhakti Hinasya Jat Shastram Tapas Japas Tapa Aprana Seva Deyasya Mandanam Loka Ranjanam. So without bhakti, all the endeavors are fruitless. So then bhakti doesn't have even what? Karma and yoga are dependent on conditions of purity, time, place, candidates, materials, and performance. But that's not true with bhakti. And here is a verse which mentions, that, you know, that, in chanting of the name of the Lord, there's no restriction of place, time, performance, purity, impurity, nothing. And that what? Bhakti is not even dependent on faith. This is a very heavy statement. Bhakti can give result even if somebody doesn't have faith. And the classic example is of Ajamil, who chanted the name of Narayan. That is the supreme independent potency of Bhakti. So this we saw in the last class. And here, before we go into the next, yeah, the main fruit of chanting, we saw the Sanatan Goswami's. Before we discuss the next Anuched, uh, based on the question asked by Bir Krish Prabhu in the last class, I am making a very important discussion here. It's not a detour, but it's required. So basically, we know that it is the Madhyam Adhikari. Madhyam Adhikari's heart has prema for the Lord. And this is very clearly established by Vishwanath Chakra Thakur now. And here is a candidate, and he can bestow his mercy. Mahat Kripa, which is called as Mahat Kripa. Right? So he can give bhakti to him. And this, ultimately turns into Mahat Seva. See, the word used is very important. It is a Mahat Kripa and it is a Mahat Seva. And this gradually leads to Shraddha, development of faith. And by hearing Shunvatam Sukata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Rinantasoya Badrani Vidunoti Surisatam. By hearing and chanting from the Shravanam and Kirtanam from such a Mahat, what happens? Then, he attains uh, sadhana bhakti, He performs sadhana bhakti, Shrunotam, and this Shraddha is, pure Shraddha. This is pure Shraddha, which means it is Bhagavad Gita 18.66 or Srimad Bhagavatam Dharman Santajya, uh, which is that verse here. Mam tu Sattama. Oh, that is not quoted here. Huh? Dharman Satanj. Sattama, Bhagavat 11:11:32. So he gives up all other dharmas and performs parodharma 11:11:32. In my handwriting, I need to improve. Please forgive me, man. So this is the case. Now, my question to you all is, if somebody is not a Madhyama, Madhyama according to definition of your Bhagavat, please remember. No. Madhyama Bhakta, he is not, okay? But he is a Kanishta. Can he give bhakti to a candidate? I want to know from devotees how, can he give bhakti? If it is yes, then why? If it is no, also then why? Raise your hands. I hope everyone understood the question, right? Yes. Who will answer this? What happened? Everyone is very silent today. Monday is a silence day. Shubh Ikshan Krishna Prabhuji, yes. Shubhekshan Krishna Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Prabhu.
Yeah, you will have to increase your audio volume, I think.
Yes. Now I
Mine.
have to speak higher. Yes.
Yes,
Prabhu,
yes.
it is Madhyama Adhikari who gives. So Kanishta doesn't give because he is still struggling to understand more about the bhakti and the scriptures and all.
No, 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 no. You have to understand my question. Can a Kanishta give bhakti to, a new person? Whether yes or no?
No,
No. Your answer is no. Okay. You say no. Okay. And why? Can you tell us?
because he himself is trying to understand more about bhakti by reading, associating, and also he himself is in that process. Someone
Does he have bhakti or no? Does Kanishta have bhakti or no?
he has, but is he ready to give is a
No,
question.
no. Does he have bhakti or no? First, you tell me.
Yes.
He has bhakti. Okay. Now, then if he has bhakti, why he can't give him bhakti?
It has to be that mature to give
What does that mature means what?
over a period of time when he understands
No,
scriptures, like
what it means that what he has to mature means what? Like
that
what?
that stage it has to come where he
What
starts
stage? What stage it is then?
to Kanishta to Madhyama.
He has to come. Then what bhakti has then? What kind
He
of
has a
bhakti has?
very Komala Bhakti.
Komala. There is nothing called as Komala Bhakti. There is Komala Shraddha.
Ha, Komala Shraddha which he is
So,
following.
but what type of bhakti he possesses then?
just the starting level or starting point.
What is it called? What is it called? You are using terms which are, you know,
No, I can't.
it is called as Mishra Bhakti. His bhakti is not pure. So he can give what kind of bhakti then?
Mishra Bhakti.
Mishra. So this is a very important point which we need to understand. So your answer is no, is not right. Yes, he can give bhakti,
But
but that bhakti is not, he cannot instill that kind of faith because his compassion, this Madhyama has compassion. His compassion is actually what? As it is called as kripa. One second. His compassion is called as what? Kripa Shakti. Kripa Shakti it is. And this Kripa Shakti is actually basically what? It is Samvit and Ladini. Sorry again. But does this Kanishta have this Kripa Shakti?
no problem.
He has, but it is not, fully, fully manifested. It is not fully manifested. Only in the Madhyama, who has prema for the Lord, he has also got prema. But there is still Anya Abhilasha Shunya is not, Anya Abhilashatam Shunya is not happened for him. Still the Bhukti Spruha and Mukti Spruha are there. So that is the. So ultimately, he can give bhakti to him, and with this, he will start his Shravanam Kirtanam, but he has to come in touch with such a Madhyama. He has to come in touch with the Sadhya Madhyama, and from there, he has to hear and purify and understand Shuddha Bhakti very clearly. And then, when he performs his bhajan and becomes free from all these anarthas, then with that, you know, he will come to this point. He will come to this point. And then ultimately, from there, his Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti will begin. So this is very, very, very important. That is why we need to seek association of such Madhyama, Mahabhagavats they are, because they possess prema for the Lord. And just by hearing from them, you know, we get that faith that, otherwise we are still hesitant. We want to make our own arrangements and take shelter of this material world. But ultimately, by the words of that Mahabhagavat, we completely throw ourselves at the shelter of Krishna and become completely dependent on Krishna. That is Sarva Dharman Parityajya. But we take shelter of a little bit of the material world and then shelter of Krishna. That's what is happening here. Hmm? Oh, I need to make some arrangements for my food, for my maintenance in this life. So, like that, when we are in that situation, that means we still have, you know, Mam ekam sharanam braja, aham tam sarva. We still have to come to that fact. That development of faith is required. So, that's the point I wanted to make here. Okay, so somebody has to draw this diagram nicely with the PowerPoint presentation with the nice this otherwise it's all shabby now. But I hope the point was clear. So anything on this, any questions on this now? I hope this point is very clear. Any questions on this? Any questions, any clarifications on this? Anyone has any doubts on this? Veer Krish Prabhuji, Shubhekshana Krish Prabhuji. Yes, Shubhekshana Krish Prabhuji. First, we will take your question. Yeah.
Uh, Prabhu, so just to understand that if say someone comes in touch with Kanishta
Hmm.
and he's trying to cultivate or preach, so shall he take to the Madhyamadhikari for that new candidate?
I am not understanding your question.
Now someone, a new person comes to temple
Hmm.
and to whom,
Generally, we come in touch with Kanishtas only.
yes. So what is
Generally,
the
we
duty
come
of
in touch with
Kanishta?
Kanishtas only.
Ah,
That's not a problem. That's not a problem. But basically, it's very rare that we can directly come in touch with the Mahabhagavat. If you're, from your previous life, you're that fortunate that you have cultivated that level of, devotion in your previous life, you might directly come in touch with the Mahabhagavat, you know. But generally, we come in touch with the Kanishta and we begin our practices. Yeah, what is your question now?
no, Prabhu, I got it. Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's what I could sense that. Yes, Veer Krish Prabhuji, what's your question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat.
Hmm.
Prabhu, this development of pure faith,
Hmm.
uh, now, uh, how do we, how do we get to that stage, Prabhu?
That is by hearing from a Madhyama, hearing from a very advanced devotee. श्रद्धा शब्दे विश्वास सुदृढ़ निश्चय कृष्ण भक्ति कैले सर्व कर्म कृत होय. You know that your understanding of Shastra, that is development of faith, understanding of the Shastra. And that understanding of the Shastra is given by the Madhyama. And when you understand it and you develop that Vishwas, that if I perform Krishna Bhakti, Sarva Karma Krit Hoy, I need not do anything else. You know, when you come to that point, with this is a natural evolution which might take a lifetime or many lifetimes. Please remember that. You know, but once you come to that point and you completely surrender, then from there onwards, Shuddha Bhakti begins. Just a year or 2 years back, maybe a year back, I was fortunate to meet Krutu Prabhu, who is also initiating spiritual master. He is a Grahastha. He and his wife together preach all over the world. And, he personally shared his story how he came in touch with ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada. He was a very big, uh, he was having a very big post in a company in America or Canada, I think. And he was practically in the executive post there, earning a huge, huge salary. This is that times, in the 1970s. And coming from a pious background, when Prabhupada came, he went and met Prabhupada and he called Prabhupada to his home, because in India, generally the custom is that you invite sadhus to your home. And Prabhupada visited his home and Prabhupada asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, I'm an engineer in this so and so company." So Prabhupada just casually mentioned, there are so many engineers, doctors, but why don't you dedicate your life to preaching the message of the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavad? And next day, he resigned all the savings in thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, what he had, everything he donated, and full time he and his wife joined. And since then, they have been preaching all over the world. You know, completely, he could take, Prabhupada could take him directly to the point of Sarva Dharman Parityajya. you know, and since then, what will happen to our, who will maintain us? Nothing, So this is, that is the kind of faith a Mahabhagavat can instill. Now, it's not that all, who came in touch with Prabhupada also came to this level, they gradually over a period of time and years because they had to acquire that faith. And that faith comes with knowledge by hearing from the Mahabhagavat. So there is that gradual development which happens. I hope this point is clear.
And Prabhu, one more question, Prabhu, on this.
Yeah.
Prabhu, when we say pure faith, and I heard somewhere magnitude of faith. So these two are different technology, I mean terminology. When we say, I mean, Dridha Shraddha, so if
I don't know about the term magnitude of faith, but basically in the Shastra, what is mentioned is Komal Shraddha and Shraddhavan and Proud Shraddha. Hmm. So at least you should come to the point of Shraddhavan, that you are able to understand the meaning of Shastras, you know, and with that you are able to practice according to the Shastras. Now, when you come across someone, who is, more good in logic and you're not able to defend, the Shastras, although you're not able to defend, but your faith in the Shastra is strong. And although you might get defeated also from others or you're not able to convince, that is a different thing. But your faith in the statements of Shastra remains firm. Whereas an Uttama, again, these Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama are based from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu perspective. Whereas an Uttama, he also has that, that he is able to, subdue the arguments of others and establish the Siddhanta and, you know, defeat others. That is the difference between the Madhyama and the Kanishta, Uttama there. So your faith in the Shastra is Gad Vishwas, as the term Bhaktivinoda Thakur uses. It is unshakable. It's like a banyan tree. So that point you should come to. That is by hearing the Shastras. By hearing the Shastras, then you come to, and all your doubts are dispelled about Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva. So this Tattva, Siddhanta, understanding of Siddhanta is that development of faith.
right, right. Thank you.
Any other questions about this? Any other clarifications? Anyone? Anjan Prabhuji, you had some question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandas Pranam. Prabhuji, actually, I didn't have a question. I was trying to respond to your question.
Yeah,
And
what was
other
your
Prabhuji,
response? No, what was your response for this?
um, what I had seen, Prabhuji, was that, a Kanishta Adhikari certainly is able to give bhakti to a certain extent, because a Kanishta Adhikari, especially those who are new to the movement, they get a lot of inspiration, just like Prabhupada says, new crows, right? There can be new swans also. So the new swans are very enthusiastic in preaching. And so seeing their enthusiasm, you know, uh, new devotees who come into the movement, can get a sense of, oh, he is
Yeah, but
doing
what
so
kind of
much.
bhakti he can give?
Yeah, Mishra only, but,
Uh,
certainly he can give.
Yeah, but bhakti is so powerful. Yeah. So, that's the point. Yeah. Okay. So let's now come to now. Now, having established that karma and jnana ultimately, depend on bhakti to give the results, bhakti is the most powerful spiritual practice, and it is free from constraints of time, place, or personal qualifications. This we have seen in the previous this. Now, another point he mentions that there is no possibility of falling down despite shortcomings in one's bhajan. And this is not the case with karma and jnana. In bhakti, there is no question of fall down. Whereas karma, there are pitfalls in the form of, of fall downs in the form of pitfalls in the form of karma and jnana. Fall downs are there. But in bhakti, there is no. And this is very, very important. And this very clearly one has to understand. So let's go into this now in discussion. Karma yogasya तथा भूतत्वे महान अनर्थकारित्वम एव. There are many rules and prohibitions in karma yoga, and even a slight fault in their performance makes the result very harmful. Mantrahina, swarato, varnato, va, mito, prayukto, tad artam aha. Shastra says if a mantra is not chanted or not chanted or intoned properly in performing sacrifices, the whole process becomes fruitless. Yathendra, Shatru, Swarato, Paradhat, Sa Vaga Vajro, Yajamanam, Hi, Himsati, Ityade, Evam, Jnana. Wait 1 second. Hmm. Ityade, Eva. Okay. Ityade. Yeah, from here up till here. Ityade. Where is it now? Where am I? Maybe I should mark and then I have to break it. I feel like, okay. Ityade, here it is. So here what he's saying, not only fruitless, but improper chanting sometimes act as a thunderbolt and gives completely opposite results to the performer of their sacrifice and may even destroy him. Vajra Yajmano, you know, it becomes a Vajra and it can destroy him. Due to Twashta receive while offering obligations due to sacrifice said, may the enemy of Indra appear. Due to his defective pronunciation, he got the opposite result. No? So opposite result can. Then he says, Evam Jnanasyanta Karna Shuddha Adhinatvam Prasiddhameva. Similarly, it is well known that the practice of Jnana Yoga is dependent on the purity of the heart. Nishphala Karma Yogenanta Karnasya Shuddha Nishpadit त्यायाम एव तत्र तस्य प्रवेशात कर्माधीनत्वम च. One can attain purity of heart by doing karma yoga without desiring any fruits. One finally attains the qualification to do Jnana Yoga. Ultimately, to attain qualification to Jnana Yoga, you have to perform Karma Yoga. And this Karma Yoga has to be done absolutely with no desire for the fruits. And by that, you have to attain purity of heart, and then you are qualified to attain practice Jnana Yoga, practice Jnana Yoga. So this is, pitfalls of karma and jnana. And then what further? Tad adhikritasya daivat duracharatve lave api sa vai vantasya praptah. And moreover, if a jnani accidentally commits even a small unworthy act, then he is defamed as a shameless vomit eater. Vantasi means, you eat your own vomit. Such a heavy statement it is. So this is iti ninda. Vantasya prapta iti ninda. He will be criticized. And then further he says, Kamsa Hiranyakashipu रावण आदीनां तत्तद प्रकरण दृष्ट्या ज्ञानस अभ्यासवताम अपि न तत्वेन व्यापदेश लवोपि. As with Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, though they were jnanis, they were still condemned by everyone because of their conduct. Thus, even a slight unworthy act of a person practicing jnana yoga is not appreciated by the sadhus. So these are the pitfalls of karma and jnana. Whereas bhakti doesn't have any pitfalls. And that's why, when Narad is instructing Vyas, Tyaktva sadharmam charanam bhujem hare. Bhajan hi apakvo yadopatit. Yadi, if his bhajan is apakva and he falls down, there is no loss. Narad Muni is saying. There is no loss. So, but here you can see how, in the path of karma it is. Okay, now let's go line by line. Pitfalls of karma and jnana. Karma yoga se tata bhutatve maha anartha karitvam eva. Furthermore, bhakti is not dependent on purity of practice, for whether the name is chanted purely or impurely, it will deliver the fallen soul. The same cannot be said of karma yoga. Karma yoga se tata abhutatve. where impurity is a great obstacle to progress. Mahanartha karitvam eva. If there is little bit impurity, then it will be great trouble. And then he quotes this from the Paninya Shiksha. Paninya Shiksha, I don't know, it may be Panini Rishi who has composed it, but this is quoted by Sridhar Swami in his commentary to the Bhagavatam in the sixth canto, where the pastime of Vritrasur, Twashta performs this uh, yagya and he chants. What is this? Mantrahina swarato varnato va mito prayukto na tam artham aha yatendra shatru swarato paradat savagavajro yajamanahi hinsati. If a mantra is either intoned or pronounced incorrectly, not only will the mantra have no effect, but it may be not have effect, but it may be harmful, or it can be great, it can counter, it can have an opposite effect. So this is the point being made. Okay, where is my pencil? Where did I keep my pencil? Yeah, here. So here, in the karma process, you know, there has to be, there are two things. One is smallest mistake. Smallest mistake, no result. And, this small mistake also can have opposite result. And it can have a great trouble. So this is how, these are and this is being quoted again. So I'll have to tell you the pastime. Basically, it is, Twashta in the sixth Bhagavatam, sixth canto, the pastime is being mentioned that ultimately we know, but still I'll have to narrate just to make the point very clear that Brahaspati, when he entered that assembly, Indra did not welcome him. And immediately, Brahaspati became disappointed because of Indra's vanity. He had pride. So he decided to disappear to teach him a lesson. And the moment this happened, Sukracharya got the news. He got the wind. He got the news. And immediately he told to attack the Devatas, because he knew that because Brahaspati is not there, their strength has become weak. And then immediately the Devatas went to Brahma and Brahma said, okay, accept Vishwarupa as your guru and do the yagyas. Now Vishwarupa was the son of Twashta Rishi. So he replaced Brahaspati. And Vishwarup, gave Indra protection by giving the Narayan Kavacha. And he got the Swarga back from the demons. And Twashta being, Vishwarup being the son of Twashta Rishi, he was also a great grandson of a demon. And he being neutral as a Brahmana, when he was offering sacrifices, he was also giving obligations to the demons. When Indra got the news of this, blinded by anger, Indra killed Vishwarupa. And when Twashta Rishi understood that my son is murdered, he performed a yagya to actually avenge the death of his son. And while he was offering oblations in the fire, Indra Shatru Vivardaswa. O enemy of Indra, grow in power. That means. So that was what he was chanting. But while pronouncing this mantra, there are, here it is mentioned, first is, pronouncing correctly. This is, very, very important in chanting of the mantras, pronouncing correctly. Secondly, intoned. So intoned means, in the actually Vedic mantras, especially in the Rig, Yajur and Sam, the four, there is there are the Uddhata, and then there is the Anudhata, and then there is the Swarita. Swarita is the combined. Now these are very, very, technical. The throat from where the mantra is, you chant, at a low pitch. Then there is the average pitch, and then there high pitch, like that, So he made he made a little mistake. What was that mistake? That, he had to chant, intone this with a, Anudhata Swara, but he did it with Uddhata. And because of that, the whole meaning changed. Instead of a child who will be born to kill Indra, what it meant? That Indra would grow in power over his enemies. This is what happened. So this is, how karma is. And we know the famous, what is in the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? How do we chant? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the Chinese, they cannot chant Re. So they say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Lam, Hare Lam. Now, two things here you have to understand. In the process of bhakti, if the mantra is not pronounced properly or with the proper meter also, it doesn't matter. Because in the process of bhakti, there is that famous verse, Murko vadati Vishnaya, Dhiro vadati Vishnave, Ubhayasto samam punyam, Bhavagrai janardana. Murko vadati Vishnaya. The illiterate say Vishnaya, but the learned say Vishnave. The learned say Vishnave. Samam punyam, ubhayastu samam punyam. The Lord takes same. What? Bhavagrahi Janardhan. He is Bhavagrahi Janardhan. Now, when we chant mantras, Krishna's mantra, Om Krishnaya Namaha, Krishnaya, we add that Krishnaya, that affix, prefix and suffix is it called, So, Vishnu is, the suffix is actually Vaishnava, Vishnave. Vishnu becomes Vishnave. But not knowing this, the Murkhas chant Vishnaya. For Vishnu it is Vishnave, not Vishnaya. But not knowing grammar, they chant Vishnaya. But still Krishna will accept Bhavagrahi Janardhan. He'll accept it. And not only he'll accept it, but he will chant, say, oh, what a nice way he chanted my name. I am so pleased with him. Krishna will say. It's just like a child, who is not able to, in a broken language, addresses his father, and the father relishes it because it is, it is done with devotion. So the feelings of devotion are very important. Bhavagrahi Janardana. Having said that, as one matures, Prabhupada makes it very, very clear. One should pronounce the mantra clearly and distinctly so that one can hear the mantra. It's a sign of maturity that after 15 years also, when he's grown up, he is not able to take the father's name properly. But having understood that, we have to understand this second aspect also. This is the glory of bhakti. Okay, so now further, this is regarding karma. Now about jnana. Let's go to the jnana part. So an example of the importance of following such stipulations found in the story of Vritasur, wherein Tvasharsi performed sacrifice to vanquish Indra. While chanting the mantras, the Rishi mispronounced the word Indra. Shatru pronounced correctly. The words means enemy of Indra, Vritasur. Instead of it became Indra, enemy of Vritasura. This mistake proved fatal for Vatras. He got the opposite results. We saw that already. Now, for the Gyan. एवं ज्ञानस्य अंतकरण शुद्धे अधीनत्वं प्रसिद्धम एव. The necessity of internal purity for practice of Gyan is well known. Now, here again, it is very important for us to understand that to practice Karma Yoga, what is the adhikar required? What is the adhikar? What is the adhikar? Anyone? What is the adhikar required? In Karma Yoga, I mean, whether it is Sakam Karma Yoga or Nishkam Karma Yoga, it doesn't matter, or Kami Karma. But just to practice Karma Yoga, what is the adhikar required? Anyone? I hope, Sri Lalita Sumukhi Mataji, yes. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'll just try Prabhu. To
Oh,
act
you should
without
try.
attachment to the result.
No.
Haha.
You need qualification to practice, to practice Karma Yoga, what qualification you required? What is the attachment to the results you are speaking about Nishkam Karma Yoga, but whether it is, Sakam or Kamya Karma or Nishkam Karma Yoga, to practice karma, what is the qualification? Like you want to enter military, then you have to be at least 10th pass or 12th pass, like that, and you should have physical fitness. So to practice karma yoga, what is the adhikar? Yes, Anjan Prabhuji, yes. Premanjan Prabhuji, yes. Yes, I've unmuted you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, the desire to gain something, that desire should be there.
You are not, we are not understanding our question. Vinita Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, is it purity of heart?
No, you see, Kamya Karma means, I am performing karma to attain Swarga. Then does he have purity of heart? Very, very fundamental basics of Bhagavad Gita, this is. What is it? I'm really surprised. Yes, Shrivalita Mataji.
To do the work, Prabhuji.
To do the work. What work?
Yeah.
Okay, give me
Prescribed
some
duties.
example. Huh?
Prescribed duties, Prabhuji.
Prescribed duties. Okay, good. So, work. Okay. Prescribed duties. Okay, now come again now. Can you elaborate what are the prescribed duties of what all? Whom?
It actually are due. Is it based on Varnashrama, Prabhuji?
Now you have come to the point that you have to basically be in the Varnashrama. Either a Brahmana,
Kshatriya,
Kshatriya,
Vaishya, and Shudra.
Vaishya or a Shudra.
Shudra.
So this is the adhikar required. Now to practice Gyan Yoga. What is the adhikar? Now tell me. What is the adhikar? Who will tell? Anyone? Bir Krish Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna. So it's a complete purity of chitta.
No, yeah, how you'll attain that
By
complete
Niskam Karma Yoga.
Huh?
By Niskam Karma Yoga.
So Nishkama, sorry, Nishkama Karma Yoga. He has to practice Nishkama Karma Yoga where he has got purified chitta, purified heart. And this is the adhikar for practicing. This is like entry for Gyan Yoga Marg. So Nishkama Karma Yoga means he doesn't desire the fruits at all of fruits of karma. But he has a desire for what? Anyone? Desire for what? Anyone? Bir Krish Prabhuji, yes.
Desire for liberation, Pro.
Desire for liberation. But that is not considered as a desire from the from the Gyan Yoga perspective. It is not considered as desire. It is moksha, which is the goal of dharma. It's the goal of dharma. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So this he has moksha kami is, which is like favorable desire. But even in the bhakti process, this is considered unfavorable. What to speak about this? So this is the qualification for the path of yoga. Now, coming to this point of discussion, the necessity of internal purity for practice of Jnana Yoga is well known. It is required. Then, Nishphala Karma, Yogenantah Karanasya Shuddho, Nishpaditayam Eva Tatra Tasya Praveshat Karmadhinatvam Cha. Jnana Yoga is more dependent on Karma Yoga. First, one has to practice Karma Yoga. So, Jnana Yoga is dependent on Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga to practice, you have to be in the Varnashram. For one may enter Gyan Yoga only with the heart purified of gross desires. Now I mentioned, the desires for, this world pleasures or the other world pleasures. And such purity of heart stems from the performance of karma without gross desires. The desire for liberation is a subtle desire, Okay, I hope this point is clear. Tad adhikritasya daiva duracharatve lavepi savai vantasi apatrapa. Bhagavad Puran 7:15-36 iti ninda. In the Bhagavatam, where Varnashram is discussed in the Narad Yudhishthira Samvad, because of this dependency, if the practitioner of Jnana Yoga commits even a small unworthy act by accident, Daiva Duracharatve api lavepi is condemned as a Vantasi, an eater of vomit. So this is given in the Bhagavatam. And another thing which I want to point out here in this path is that in the path of Jnana Yoga, when he is performing his Jnana Sadhana, he performs this Jnana Sadhana in order to have what is his desire? For liberation. Now, if he, if his chitta is not pure and he has a desire for calm, means any desire to enjoy in this world, then he has to give up this practice of Gyan Yoga and he has to come down to the process of Karma Yoga again. Nishkam Karma Yoga. He has to perform Nishkam Karma Yoga and purify his chitta and again come to this platform, again get the adhikar for practicing Jnana Yoga. Oh, sorry. I hope you are able to understand this point again also. Like, you have 6 question papers to be answered and you fail in one. That year, you cannot go to the next year because you have failed in one. You have to sit for that entire year, again answer all the 6 papers. So complete purification of the heart is required. Chitta. Again, desire here means, desires for gross desires, not the desire for liberation. So this is another point, is being mentioned. And then he mentions ultimately Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana Adinam Tat Prakarana Drishtya Jnana Jnanabhyasattam api na tatvena Vyapadesha lavopi. That furthermore we see that Ravana, Hiranyakashipu were all famous practitioners of Gyan. They had knowledge, and they are certainly not at all worthy of praise, but they are not, nobody praises them. So Ravana, it is said that, Ravana has also written Shastras. Anyone knows about it? Ravana has also written Shastras. Anyone? Sri Lalita Somukhi Mataji, yes. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, in one of the lectures, I heard that Shiva Tandava Stotram, that with rhyming, I think that entire composition was written by Ravana.
Maybe in glorification of Shiva because he was a great devotee of Shiva.
Ha,
But
yeah.
Ravana has written also books on astrology. The Lal Kitab is actually attributed to him, which is now, translated by someone, so there is this Lal Kitab, astrology, and he's written books on even Ayurveda, you know. So what he had great gyan, but still he is condemned. You know? So this is the point Vishwanath Chakravarti is bringing out, and he's mentioning how glorious is the path of bhakti. Hmm. That it doesn't require purity of heart. That now he'll bring up in the next verse. In bhakti, even if the heart is contaminated with lust, bhakti can still manifest. You know. So in karma, we saw there has to be faultless implementation of karma. Otherwise, no result or completely opposite result. Opposite result, right? As here. And in jnana, there is what? Purity of heart. So now in the next, phrase, he'll bring up. And, here, if you don't have that, then you will be criticized. You'll be criticized for that. And will be called as a vantasi. Very heavy for that activity. So, but bhakti, even if the heart is, even if it is not faultlessly, even if it is with a lot of fault in pronunciation, there's no problem. Even if the heart is not pure and lust and all other reside, but still, you can continue your practices and you'll get purified. So that now he'll bring it up in the next paraphrase. So we'll take that up tomorrow. So any questions, any clarifications you have about this particular part we discussed? We have to understand the glories of Bhakti and Bhakti Devi. And then with that understanding of knowledge will give you such a, it's like a power-packed fuel in our heart that we'll start practicing Shuddha Bhakti. We have to take up to Shuddha Bhakti. We'll do our bhajan with intensity, understanding the glories of Bhakti Devi. So any questions, any clarification anyone has? No questions? Okay, so then we'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai, Srila Vishwanath Chakra Thakur Pad ki jai, Sri Madhurya Kadambini ki jai. You have a question, Bir Pushpoji? Yes. Yes. Yeah.
For example, pro, though we say that for practice of Gyan or purity of heart is required, but when in Bhakti also, when we say Keto Darpan Marganam, until unless our chitta is not completely purified, actual glory of Bhakti doesn't manifest in devotees. So how do we reconcile? Though it is clear that for manifest.
This will come to tomorrow. Tomorrow, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur will make it very, very clear. Very, very, very important. Tomorrow's discussion is very, very important. Stay tuned. I just gave a brief hint of what, Bhakti doesn't require even purity of heart. But tomorrow when it comes, we'll discuss. So, we'll come to that. Hold on till tomorrow. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Shri Lalita Sumukhi Mataji, you had a question?
Nothing, Prabhuji. With respect to what Prabhuji said, I was just going to say that is Bhakti itself is a purificatory process only, right? Hare Krishna Mahamaj.
Yeah, it will purify also. Yeah, tomorrow we'll come to that. We'll hold on till
Hare
tomorrow. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.